Welcome to the Millionaire Mindcast, where we broadcast weekly interviews with millionaire minds from across the globe to empower you on your journey of unlocking a rich and fulfilling life. It's time to unleash your millionaire within. Now, here's your host, Matty A.
Welcome in, guys, to another Wealth Building Wednesday. Me and my brother, Mr. Breedwell.
What's up, guys?
Dude, it's been a wild week.
It has been a wild month.
I was actually driving in this morning. Well, first off, do you like my attire?
Yeah, man. Thanks for the memo. I'm over here in a polo t-shirt, casual, and you over here looking like you're ready to drive an Aston Martin down and have a martini.
I had to
with
pull
some
my James Bond fit
straight
out of the closet. I've just been with not meeting people and dressing up and mind you, I was a suit and tie guy for a long time early on in my career, and then I got to a point where I was like, all right, fuck this, I don't have to dress like this anymore to impress people.
I was that way early on too.
And then lately I've been like, man, when I have dressed up, I just feel got a little edge, little sharper. So I decided because I've been in the office by myself for the last month, I'm like, all right, I'm dressing up today. Breedwell and I are recording the Wealth Building Wednesday. I'm going to be sharp looking, sharp mind. I might even have a sharp tongue today.
I always do. You know me. That's why you keep me around a little bit. I feel like you were listening to like a Stained, like it's been a while and getting dressed.
It's been a while.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
It was just popping in my head.
What's going on, you guys? Hopefully you guys are doing okay as you're tuning into this wherever you're at. If you're listening to this in the car or on a walk, we are now also hosting these on YouTube. So we got videos. You can see Breedwell's face for radio, and obviously your shirt for radio. You're looking
Garwood's
today.
One of my favorite places in Tahoe to go grab a bite to eat.
Been a crazy week, though. A lot of stuff has happened. We got a lot to cover in today's episode.
Ton of stuff, guys.
Our Twitter trend of the day. I've been just loving Twitter trends lately. It's been extremely entertaining on many levels to see where the attention of our human population goes to in times like this when everybody's focused on the internet. But here's one big one that I know ties into you and getting your attention is IMF, Bloomberg reports say that the Great Lockdown may be the worst recession in 100 years.
Yeah, it's I'm still, like I said from the beginning, weeks and weeks and weeks ago, I had a more flowery view than the general public. I would say now my side of the street is a little bit more filled with more recognizable names. Goldman Sachs came out with an article that essentially said that they believe the market bottom has been fully priced in. I forget the full name of the firm, Piper something. They are the most bullish investment firm that has an actual reputable name, and they have a price target for the S&P at 3,600 for December 31st, which is, I do not think that's going to happen.
That is very aggressive.
That is a full market recovery, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I am on the Goldman Sachs kind of, hey, 30. Their price target was 3,000. They raised it up to 3,100, and they have guidance up to 3,200. So 3,100 to 3,200 is the long term December 31st, and I am still very confident that that's going to happen. Earnings came out today for multiple companies, and that a lot of people were saying, discount 2020, look forward to 2021. It doesn't even matter. You can't count on the data. And for a lot of companies, that's true, because a lot of it is guidance, and guidance numbers should be completely thrown out for 2020. If a company says, hey, we think we're going to do this in Q4 and Q3, that should be taken with a bag of salt, not a grain. You should not. That's just bleh. It has nothing behind it. But for companies that are reporting actual, tangible, concrete data, sales, purchase orders, like guaranteed purchase orders, shipments from overseas, and so on and so forth, you can act upon those, and they were well above expectations, especially for Tesla. Surprise, surprise, Tesla back in the news.
Earnings reports came out.
Their stock is flying. So today, and that's not a recommendation that you need to get it or anything, but I'm just saying that's one of the reasons that it's very important, like we talk about time in and time out, is to make sure that whatever process you pick for yourself, regardless of what's going on in headline news, regardless of what your friends are doing, you stick to your process, because my clients and myself have stuck to our process, and I will tell you what, they're fairly happy with the outcome. We stayed fully invested this whole time. We reallocated a couple times. We are still allocated very bearish on our tactical models, so we're not jumping back into the market quite yet, but we're nibbling. And a lot of my clients in our strategic models are moving a lot of their fixed assets and their cash equivalent assets over to equities, and they're seeing 13, 14, 15% returns in less than 2 weeks. Now, that's not something that, it's all on paper and that's not realized, but it's a great opportunity. You had a post on your social media, your Instagram, and it was talking about how 2008 made a lot of these millionaires, and then on your live you were going over that, how you got into real estate in the last recession, depression, whatever you want to call it, and that was a financial crisis.
Correct.
And that's not what's happening right now. So I think that's super powerful, that not only you've done that, but we're like going through a similar time, if that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And you have the know-how and the wherewithal and the years of experience, and you're in your, no, I don't know how to say this anyway, but you're in your bag now. You know what you're doing. So what are you telling to people that are calling you? Because people that are calling me, what I'm saying. Yeah. I think I'm saying the same thing that you are, but I don't want to steal any thunder. What are you saying to people that are calling in and
Well, people that are calling in right now that I'm talking with, which is a lot of people right now. One, I'm talking to a lot of people that are way smarter than me, that have a lot of assets under management, that are all scrambling to figure out, how do we protect these assets? How do we position ourselves for the opportunity that we all know is coming? And right now it's a lot of patience, which is weird. It's hard for quote unquote empire builders, right, to want to pause and stop and actually be forced to kind of sit back and watch your eggs in your basket like a hawk right now more than ever, and step your game up in how you're operating your assets and protecting your assets and talking with your tenants and working through a lot of those things. But also, it's okay. I know that there's going to be big opportunity coming. I mean, when you listen to these reports, guys, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll throw these on the screenshots, but it is some big ripple effects starting to happen here that are going to create some hardship, going to create some distressed assets, going to create ultimately some amazing life-changing opportunities for a lot of people. And according to a lot of various articles right now, approximately 3.74% of all home loans and mortgages are in forbearance as of April 5th. And that's according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. And that's up 2.73% from the prior week. So we see requests for forbearances jump 78%. And that just tells us, okay, there's a lot of people that are undercapitalized, that don't have the reserves that they want, that may be facing a job loss or tenants not paying, and they don't have the proper insulation to ultimately foot the bill, right?
Yeah.
So that tells us that there's going to be opportunity, and how hard it's going to hit or how long it's going to take to kind of rear its head and where it shows up at, that's where you just got to be patient. You got to be engaged. You got to be on the front lines. You got to be talking to the right people. You got to be plugged into the right channels, I would say, knowing that the more equipped you are with knowledge, the better you can take action to position yourself to actually capitalize on the opportunity. In 2010, when I got in, I didn't know shit about real estate, right? I knew it was like, we're at the bottom of the market. I don't think it's a very good time to get in. If I would have known what I know now,
dangerous. Your boy would have been dangerous.
I would have done so many different things, which is what I'm going to do this go around, and I see it differently this time. I can actually understand what I'm looking at right now, in the sense of I don't understand all of the, minutia of how coronavirus is going to impact all the different aspects of our world. But what I do know is from a macro level and knowing real estate market cycles, I'm now understanding what events and what variables trigger other things to happen.
Yeah,
and we're going to start to see that.
Yeah, and you've seen the chain reaction happen. You were a part of the chain reaction last time, and now you're standing almost watching it happen from a.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slower. I'm recognizing things. I'm connecting dots faster. And here's the thing. You don't need to know all of these things yourself. You just need to be connected to the right people who are kind of leading the path and the way for you. And that's, again, I'm looking to my mentors and people that have 4,000, 10,000, 30,000 units under management, or 20, 30, 50, $100 million commercial real estate portfolios, right? What are all of those people doing? What are all of those groups doing? Those are the things that I'm paying attention to, and then going, let me gather all this information, put it through my own filter. Also, tie that into my own experiences, my own truths of what I believe to be true, right? And then how do I come to a conclusion that helps me take what I believe to be the next best step to help me achieve the goals that I want? I want to create massive amounts of wealth in this next market cycle because I know it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
And I know because I've seen other people do it. And if I had $1 for every time someone was like, man, bro, if I had another chance at a 2008 or anything close to it, ooh, baby.
Have you seen the commercials for that show called, what's it called, Snowpiercer or whatever, like the train? So the idea on it is, I think it ties into the kind of this, like last time you got onto that train, you were on the caboose. Yep. And on this train, this Snowpiercer, the farther back you are on the train, the lower class you are. And the farther up you are on the train, it just gets fancier and fancier and nicer and nicer. So I think right now, you've made it to the front of this Snowpiercer event, and you've done your due diligence and gone through the rough of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's so funny because that show just came out. It's a pretty cool idea. I'm like, it's a kind of cool concept. But I think last time you were on, when this came through, this event, you hit the tail end of it. You've done your due diligence on how to get to the front end of it, and now you're on the front end of it, trying to grab as many people as you can at the station. Correct. On the way out.
I'm trying to take the elevator up another 50 floors, but please believe I'm trying to send it back down every chance I get for the people that are trying to get to that next level too.
Yeah.
And in times of recession, I forget who said it. They said recession is opportunity dressed up in wolves' clothing, right? Like recession to a lot of people looks and feels and seems really, really scary, but with hard work, right, with jumping in there and making the right connections, skilling up, putting in the work when everybody else is scared, that's where the real opportunity presents itself. And so I'm excited, right? The first time I was going through this, I didn't know, what I didn't know. And a lot of things to me felt like big, scary wolves, right? Whereas this time I can go, okay, those fears are still there, but I know that with this, and this, and me doing that, and me, surrounding myself with this person and connecting with that community and staying involved in this mastermind or whatever it is, and I keep taking action, and I keep surrounding myself with badass mofos like Mr. Breedwell,
thanks,
right? That I'm going to put myself in the best chance to actually capitalize on this and win and level up for myself, for my family, all of the things that I have been putting in the work for. I feel like, hey, this is go time.
Yeah.
And this is on a macro contextual scale when I'm talking about the next decade, let's say. But, it's going to be, if it ends up being the great lockdown ends up creating the worst recession in 100 years, I know that that's going to create some really challenging circumstances for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of aspects of life, our global economy as we know it. And I also know that I'm going to do everything in my damn power not to lay down and take it. I'm going to get up there and go, how do I navigate in this landscape and win?
Yep.
Because winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is.
Yeah, you roll with
and
the punches.
I want to win big
out
on this one, right?
Yeah. You got to have a tough chin. You're going to get hit a bunch of times in the jaw, being an entrepreneur or investor or a mover or a shaker, but it is not oh, you got hit. It's what are you going to do? Are you going to take that hit and fall? Or are you going to roll with it and come back?
Oh, and I know I'm going to take some
jab?
shots for
Oh,
sure. To
yeah.
getting to where I'm at
Yeah.
today, I've taken more chin shots than I have, right?
I've taken a few. Yeah, I mean,
like
me as
blows
well.
to the gut, scars, wounds, and at the end of the day, you keep pushing. So I'm really excited for what's coming, and the data is telling us that there's going to be big real estate opportunity coming forward. And
Mhm.
again, I think a lot of it comes back to this overall timeline and getting more insight as to how people respond to the economy and life opening back up and trying to get some kind of level of normalcy. And so you hear I think there's 7 or 8 states on the East Coast that are working together to reopen and to create a plan and how
Yep.
they can kind of contain and work
Mhm.
within their guidelines that they're going to create to stimulate and get back to business as usual. And then you're starting to see, right, the Pacific Northwest. Governor Newsom
Yep.
announced yesterday with the help of Oregon and
Washington
Washington
and California.
California, right, that we are going to be working on reopening our economies as well. So if that kind of talk continues and we start to get some clear kind of backstops as to when we can potentially start easing back into this, then I think that's going to give us some stability and confidence. But if this continues to,
Yeah, I think the ultimate, the next big catalyst for the market as a whole, whatever investment, real estate, the stock market, what have you, I think once we get some real ground on a vaccine is done and it's approved and it's being used it's now deployable, that's going to be the next big movement forward. I think consumer confidence staying stable, people purchasing, going back out. I would encourage anybody who feels comfortable, anybody who's healthy, when if your state and when your state opens back up for business, I would encourage you, if you have the means to do so, you should go and start spending money in your communities. Sit down at a restaurant. Go to a local grocer, maybe a local family grocer instead of a large grocer. Things like that, because that ultimately will drive data numbers that will then go on headline news that the majority of Americans will see and act upon. And if we all can, just like we've been sheltering in place and sacrificing how we've been sacrificing for the last 30 days, maybe we can afford to pay an extra $1 for that pound of chicken or $2 for that pound of steak and go to our local grocer or buy from a family-owned gas station or donate to a local charity or food bank on the behalf of our local community, so that can drive up and really have a grassroots movement, because that's really what this is inspired, a grassroots type movement to everybody working together. No race, no religion. That's all kind of gone out the door.
Yep.
It's everybody working
human.
together. Yeah, team human. So I would encourage everybody that has the means to do so. I'm in that boat. I know Matt to some degree is in that boat, just like I to some degree in that boat. We're being safe with our money and holding it, but I can afford to go grab a bite to eat with me and my family, and I can afford to go do something a little bit extra. Maybe I can go down and to a winery up in like Amador County, which is like our little mini Napa, and go wine tasting and support them. That's the little things like that. You have no idea how these businesses are struggling right now. Not only, you have to remember, are they having to lay off employees, but when those employees are then drawing on unemployment, some of that money is the employer's reserves for unemployment, and the employer has to then reimburse that bucket. It is a vicious cycle of how this can affect small to medium-sized businesses.
Well, and that's why you got to stay, guys, super engaged as to what's going on right now, because as Ryan would love to say, he's been right, and he's called a lot of these things, and he backs a lot of his information up with data. There's still this consumer side of fear that we ultimately can go a million different ways with, even with the data there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan sees through it. He feels confident in what is going to happen, and I think a lot of people are starting to now go, okay, whew, all right, I'm feeling a little bit more confident as to what's going on and where things are trending and the curve flattening and government's doing this and working together here, right? We've had some time to process this. And at the end of the day, there's still the risk and the reality that there could be a lot of new cases
We're not
that
out of
spike
it.
up again, right?
We're not out of it, guys.
You're starting to see in Wuhan, they just
Yep.
released information that they're having a massive outbreak again
Mm-hmm.
in the northern part of the Wuhan province. And they're doing obviously everything in that they've been through it. They know how to contain it. But those are things that we're going to have to deal with. And that's going to impact the psyche. And that's going to impact people doing this or that, right? So
Yep.
doing things responsibly and ultimately accepting the fact, Marie and I were talking about this the other day, of like, shit, like, let's just accept the fact that coronavirus is going to be around in a conversation, in a variable in this equation of how we do life, how we do business for the next year at least.
Yeah, no, it's
until
going to
it
be
becomes
around.
normal. So therefore, how can we say, if this is our new normal, how do we operate within it and still achieve our goals, still keep our sanity, still have health, still keep a social life, still do X, Y, and Z, right? Be good parents, have a great marriage, all of those things. And that's what people are going to have to rework and adapt and figure out how to evolve to operate within the new norm of coronavirus. And then how crazy it gets or how bad it gets, right? You're just going to have to stay engaged in making the pivots that are necessary to continue doing what you need to do.
Yeah, and again, the biggest thing is don't there's not going to be this black to white or white to black, whatever you want to say, like, oh, this is an on and off switch. The country's off, back on, everything's back to normal. I would love if that would happen, and so would everybody, but that's not how it's going to happen. And everybody should do it at your own pace. But what I don't think you should do is you should not be afraid to don't be afraid when it's the time to be a leader and not a follower. Set the example. Just do it at a not breakneck speed. I don't think breakneck speed is good, because the breakneck speed is probably what's going on in Wuhan, the northern province of Wuhan. And that type of stuff is not productive, because why would you take 2 steps forward to go 3 steps back? So baby steps, moving forward, like Matt said, in slow bit pieces, getting back into your investing in slow nibbling pieces. I have a lot of investors asking me, oh, should I dump, should I put everything into the market right now? No. If you want to do some monthly contributions, let's set up something, but let's keep some cash on hand just in case we're not correct, because nobody has a crystal ball.
Yep.
So just prudent decisions. I think that's what I was going to add on to.
How important is it to have cash on hand, and how much are people suggesting in your world for, say, the average person right now?
I always want my clients to have at least 6 months of their expenses on hand, because you can probably weather any sort of storm with about 6 months of expenses. Me and my wife keep about 2 years of expenses on hand.
That's what we call sleep well at night money.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, yeah.
and for opportunities like this, right?
Yeah.
Where
Well, we just,
patient.
I just got an,
Yep.
I got a good deal. I stole some real estate recently for a deal. So that was a good opportunity. So just little things like that. But I myself am not dumping in. I mentioned a couple podcasts ago, I put some good contributions into my retirement accounts. I have the means to do so. That doesn't mean that you should do that. I am still nibbling every single month at the market, taking little bits off, even when it's up, even when it's down, because that's my plan. That's my process, as I tell you guys to do and as I preach. And if any of you listeners have called me and talked to me, I tell you exactly what I'm doing at the levels that I'm doing it and why I'm doing it, and share with you what investing styles that work well for me and my family. If that works well for you and your family, which it likely will, you can do it at whatever level you want to. But setting your process, setting up your plan, and sticking to it is the ultimate goal. It can change a little bit, levels of funding, so on and so forth. You know that. I changed my funding level on my plans.
Yep.
You've recently changed your funding level on some of your plans.
Yep.
But are we both still funding our plans? Yes.
100%.
We're not stopping. I mean, I was encouraging Matt with this strip center in Wichita. I was like, dude, it's a scary time to get it, but man, growth zone, I feel like this is going to rocket ship you into 2021, 2022, and I still feel confident about that. Shout out to Kyle. I haven't talked to you in a minute, buddy. Miss you, dude.
We're Yeah, in general, we're playing the long-term game, right?
Exactly.
So whether it's with real estate and buying that strip center, I'm playing the cash flow game. Same thing with you in your vertical. You're playing the cash flow game. That's why I'm following your lead.
You're not making decisions for 6 months from now. You're making decisions for 6 years from now.
Because if I did, with everything that's going on right now, and I didn't trust in my process, then I would be sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, and gosh, what is 6 months from now is going to look completely different than what we think it is because of what's going on right now.
Yep.
So you make decisions long term with that baked in.
Right.
You just bake in that.
You have to. And if you don't trust in your process, you're not going to be a successful real estate investor. Yeah. You're not going to be a successful market investor. You're not going to be a successful investor in general.
Yep.
And so that's where you really have to lean on your counsel. I thank you for. I have made adjustments, I've tweaked, I've pivoted, but I've all done it within the counsel of Ryan, and I'm still investing and seeing my money grow. And that's what's most important. And ultimately, you got to find those people, your tribe, that you can trust in and lean on, and that you can utilize their resources, right? Their community, their support, their board of advisors, and know and trust that you have the support you need to keep doing and really just remaining accountable, doing what needs to get done. That's the biggest thing that it comes down to. And so I'm excited for some of the stuff that we got going on. We've made some pivots, some tweaks for Wealth Camp and some other things.
Yeah, let's
If you guys have questions for us, be sure to text in, say what up. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop us a comment below. Subscribe to the channel. If you got some value from this, hit that like button. But if you want to text in a question, you can text us at 844-447-1555, or if you're not entered into our monthly contest and giveaway of over $1,100 in prizes, you can do that by heading over to go.millionairemindcast.com. Some great stuff there. It's a way that, one, you get to ask a question, and just by doing that and submitting that, you get entered into the contest. Or text me, 844-447-1555. What do you got for us on Wealth Camp? We got some updates for you guys on Wealth Camp.
Yeah, so
obviously a lot has changed for travel, for social distancing.
I will say this one more time. First of all, scared money don't make money. So, second, we are doing the Wealth Camp in May. Do not be fooled.
We got a few people.
It is going down. If you are not going to the Wealth Camp in May because you are worried about travel being canceled, worried about the virus, anything else, please don't come. If you are not,
yes,
please
that is
come.
Correct.
Because
flights are dirt cheap right now.
You're dirt cheap.
You're gonna be surrounding yourself with some real players.
I might be flying out. I haven't told Matt about this. I might be flying out a very special person for a brief surprise introduction. So
we got a couple great guests that are lined up that are still going to come in responsibly. We are working within social distancing guidelines.
I have rented the biggest van I legally can drive to pick you guys up from the airport.
we got a great a small and intimate group.
This
is going to be one that might be probably one of my favorites, being that one, it'll be our first one, and two,
first one at this location,
and it'll be also the most intimate one, where it's kind of our founding Wealth Camp members.
Yeah,
this is our first Millionaire Mindcast event, and so if you guys want to come hang out with me, you want to come hang out with Ryan, obviously you want to work on your true wealth plan and actually have that mapped out. Ryan and his team put something amazing together with all of their analysts and working to essentially create you a true roadmap. I work with you on your real estate investment goals and your focus on using the vehicle of real estate. And then we're also doing some other personal work, as well as having a really great time creating some really cool activities that we're going to be doing. So text the word Wealth Camp, one word, to 844-447-1555 if you want to check that out. You had a final thought?
Yeah, I'm just going to blow it out the water. And then our next dates are October 6th through 9th. They're already on the calendar for the next Wealth Camp at my cabin. You guys do not want to miss out. The next Wealth Camp, it's going to be golf season.
Yeah, we got some
good stuff going on. So trust me when I tell you, if you are interested, I would highly recommend getting in on this first wealth camp, because it's going to have, because it's the first event and the first one we're doing, it's going to have some special twist to it.
Yeah.
So for all of our listeners that are not worried about what's going on in the world right now, to a degree that they would not better themselves and take the next step in their wealth building
now more than
career,
ever is a great time to invest in yourself, your plan, your roadmap for getting to where you want to go.
We really need you guys
and your network.
Just to let you guys know, for what our team is doing for you and for what Matt's team is doing for you, and then the plans that we're building, the booklets that we're getting put together for you personalized, we need you to be signed up and paid within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That way I can have all of your data, because it's going to take my analysts about 7 to 10 days to build your plan. I have to jump on a call with you, get what you're trying to do a fee analysis. He's got to get information on your real estate portfolio. I got to talk to my CP. There's a lot of stuff that we got to do. So
text the word Wealth Camp, one word, 844-447-1555. We're excited to connect with you guys. Text us at 844-447-1555. If you're new to the show, say what up. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Again, all Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Millionaire Mindcast episodes are on YouTube now.
Yes, they are.
So check those out. Drop us a comment. All links, all information, anything we've referenced is in the show notes or show description. And if you're new to real estate and you are looking to capitalize on this upcoming recession, and maybe you're like, well, I don't have any money, I don't have any experience, how do I get started? How do I find these deals? How do I analyze these deals? How do I fund these opportunities? I got started in the last real estate recession, and so I have a free training for anybody that's new, that wants to know where to start, how to capitalize, how to position themselves, and really just the 3 simple things that you need to know to get started. And really, it's dig the well before you need the water, right? So the opportunities are coming. We want to do what we need to do to get in front of those and position ourselves to capitalize on them. So I'm going to be going over and doing a free training for anybody that wants to check that out. Go over to go.sixfigureflipper.com/recession, or just text the word recession to 844-447-1555. With that being said, we love you guys. Tune in next week. We'll have some more updates. We'll have some more Twitter trends for you guys. And keep continuing to invest in yourself and your wealth on your march to $1 million and beyond. Cheers.
See you guys later.